Watch out, Graham! There's a U-boat on your tail. A short time later, 257 Squadron began to get a little bit impatient. Ouch! Those lamp brackets are trying to pick a fight with me. You're doing a fine job there, fella. And find out how a Welsh scrapyard owner helped save the Heritage Railway movement over a few beers. Will he crash into it, causing damage to this valuable air pump? This is the Railway Mad YouTube channel where we are restoring one of these. A Battle of Britain class steam locomotive with Southern Locomotives Limited. As you can see, today I'm Billy No Mates and I'm travelling down to the Swanage Railway for their spring steam gala alone. But luckily, Peter and Paul in another van are joining me later. In two birds, well, three birds with one stone actually, because not only are we taking our pop-up shop down to Swanage, where we'll be at Corfe Castle, we are also taking down the air pump for Edddystone's Mainline braking system. And then on the return trip, we have a special delivery. This dual driver designed 262 tank engine sounds absolutely magnificent. Being craftily classified as mixed traffic engines, the Bulleid Pacifics don't look out of place on the front of freight trains. And these brake van trips look pretty fun and very popular. Having just left the Watercress line, 257 Squadron was scrambled into action. 257 is named after the famous and very successful squadron in the Battle of Britain. And today the pilot of 257 Squadron is our very own squadron leader of the Hurston Heroes. Watch out, Graham, there's a U-boat on your tail. The next time we see 257 Squadron, it's back on freight duties. Seeing as it seems to be so much fun taking one of these brake van trips, I thought I might give it a try. So just as another train approaches, I'm going to decide to clamber aboard the brake van and see what it's like. This is our first view of the day of 34070, the locomotive named Manston, which is 257 Squadron's sister locomotive. It is seen here coupled with 4953 Pitchford Hall. A short time later, 257 Squadron began to get a little bit impatient. It was impatient waiting for Pitchford Hall to return from Norden, taking its train to Swanage. We'll cross the footbridge and back onto the platform and onto the brake van once again. The noise you can hear is the locomotive having a drink. It's a very good viewing platform from the back of the brake van, and as we turn around we get to see Pitchford Hall pull away into the distance. The ruins of Corfe Castle are just off to the left, and this is going to be the worst view of Corfe Castle you're ever going to see, because the brake van is actually in the way. We are now approaching Norden Station. There's Manston again, sitting in a loop, waiting for its next duty. The staff aren't wasting any time here, they're uncoupling this thing straight away. Ouch! Those lamp brackets are trying to pick a fight with me. You're doing a fine job there, fella. Nearly done. And away it goes. .257 passes the points, and once the points have changed, 257 will then reverse back onto the loop line to the left. Here was our stall at Corfe Castle, where we had a few knickknacks for sale, including our lovely desktop pen holders that we make out of old boiler parts from Suffragic Pile, which is numbered 34058. In this picture, Peter's trying to make us look like the Three Amigos. As you can see, we had the nameplates of Sidmouth and 303 Squadron on display, along with their corresponding plaques. But the main purpose of this stall is actually to meet you guys and talk to you about our locomotives, and find out how a Welsh scrapyard owner helped save the heritage railway movement over a few beers.
And then you have a second beer, and then it's like, and then a third beer, and then you're all full of it. And you go back to him, and the guy turns around and says, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'll sell you a steam engine, £10,000. Because you've had 3 beers inside you, so you immediately go, yeah, all right, I'll buy a steam engine." And then he realised he could make more money out of railway enthusiasts selling steam engines than he could do scrapping them. So we ended up saving just over 260 steam engines in Barry Scrapyard, and like repairing.
Yeah, fill them up, which is 600 quid.
Well, yeah. And then you get them from this condition, and then put them back to full working order. You know. And we give people pleasure like you see today. You know,
Keep it up.
yeah, and we teach youngsters skills as well. We take on apprentices and teach them what a set of feeler gauges are, you know. And so, you know, we're trying to keep the whole thing going. So it's not just about playing trains, it's about the engineering skills and everything else that we want to maintain.
Yeah, before it all gets forgotten.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
doing a good job, mate.
But I'm glad you're enjoying the day. Have you? Are you local or?
Back aboard a train now, heading towards Swanage. As we get older, we have to remember that we have to look after the next generations of railway enthusiasts. Otherwise, all this hard work that we've been doing will go to waste. Another great way of viewing the railway is from an observation car. Here you get to see the locomotive coupling up, or if you're at the rear of the train, you get to see an uninterrupted view of the whole of the railway. Nice. We have now moved to the second carriage of this train, and up in front we have a double header, 2 locomotives, and off to the right you can see some lovely old wagons, and in front of those are the P-way huts. That's a much better view of the ruins of Corfe Castle there than we saw earlier. It's nice to see plenty of enthusiasts out today. Oh, it sounds like we may be coming to a halt. There may be trouble ahead. The signal is informing the driver that he cannot proceed any further. Some passing friends. After a short wait, the signalman raises the signal and we are off. We are going to jump off at the next station, which is Corfe Castle, because we have a delivery to do. Safely strapped into the back of our van is an air pump. This is the air pump which is steam driven for our mainline steam locomotive, which is Eddystone numbered 34028, which will be on the mainline later this year. Here we are unloading at the Hurston Locomotive Works near Swanage. That roller shutter door looks a little bit on the low side. I hope they're going to open that a bit more. I think it's time for some TV style exaggeration. Oh no! Has the forklift driver not seen that the door is not fully open? What is going to happen? Will he crash into it, causing damage to this valuable air pump? With absolute skill and mastery, the forklift driver, who's at the top of his game, negotiates his way into the workshop. And that's another job well done. It is in need of reconditioning and a fresh lick of paint, but apart from that, it's good to go. For our return trip from the Swanage Railway to Kent, we have this firebar, which is for a standard 4 engine that we are delivering to the Kent and East Sussex Railway. This firebar wasn't too heavy, so we just picked it up and popped it in the back of the van, tied it down and began our trek back across the country to Kent. Just before we set off, we popped our head back inside the workshop to take a few photos of Eddystone, just receiving a little bit of a touch up, and also to have a quick look at the air takeoff for the air pump, which is by the valve. The fire bar was then safely delivered to Rolvenden Locomotive Works on the Kenton-East Sussex Railway for this little honey. Don't forget guys that it is free to subscribe to this channel, and also please hit that like button.